what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
I'm with the band. Music and interviews you're going to like. This is Chad Austin, and on this episode of I'm with the Band, we have the United Kingdom-based My Darling Clementine, a duet formed by Michael Weston King and Lou Dalglish. They've embarked on their North American tour in support of a new record, and they have stopped by the IWTB studio to say hello. So, hello.
Hello.
How are you guys doing this morning?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Thank you. What we're going to do is we're going to expose the audience that we have to you, because you're kind of new around here.
Well, it's the first time we've been in North Carolina, and it's the first time that My Darling Clementine have been in the States. Individually, we've been over here a number of times, but this is the first time we've been here. But the whole thing's kind of new, really, because this is a new venture and a new record.
Well, first of all, let's go some of the obvious questions, like why the name My Darling Clementine, and how long have you guys been together as this duet?
Right, well, the name My Darling Clementine came about because when we were having a baby, and the baby wasn't born yet, we nicknamed our baby Clementine while she was still in me. And then it just kind of stuck that when we decided to form a band together as husband and wife, we liked the name Clementine, and it just felt like a nice sort of slushy thing to do. Plus, we think it's a cool name, My Darling Clementine. So.
And it's a great movie, and it's a pretty good song as well.
Yeah.
So
it ticked lots of boxes for us, that name.
It did what?
It ticked lots of boxes. So is that too English, that expression?
So go ahead. What does that mean?
It worked on many levels. It fulfilled various things that seem right.
Lots of boxes. I'll have to remember
you've got
that.
all your boxes on
you
your
said that in a very English way. It ticked lots of boxes.
Well, I have performed for a long time in my life, and the outfit that I play in now, we've been together. This is our 14th year. And when we started, the first 2 years, we all spoke with English accents.
Really?
Yeah, until somebody came over from Sussex and said, "So, really, exactly where are you from?" And I was like, it's not very good. I can do it for about a minute. Just long, short phrases.
Good. Well, you've learnt a new expression today.
That's right.
Boxes on a form and it tick them. Yeah? No, should I just leave it? I'll let it go.
Okay, so country music in England. Now,
discuss.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long we got? Well, I don't know. I mean, country music in England, performed by English or British people, quite rightly has had a pretty bad press, because most British artists playing country music generally tend to not be inspired by country music, just replicate it. Get up and play country clubs to line dancers and knock out whatever the country hits are of the day. But there are, in more underground circles, a number of people influenced by country music and take that and add something original to it. And, in the way that, with the sort of no depression alt country thing, when the Jayhawks and Uncle Tupelo and these guys came along, there were British bands doing a similar thing in a kind of underground way. So it is out there, but what we've done with, and that was something I was very much involved in with a former band that I had called the Good Sons, and we toured with Steve Earle and Joe Ely and the Jayhawks and all these guys. But what Lou and I set out to do with this record was to make something that was not alt country, not alternative, just straight down the line, a pure country record, but paying homage really to those great classic duets of the 70s, George Jones and Tammy Wynette, Dolly Parton, Porter Wagner. And we involved people who really understood that kind of music, and that's where we've gone with this record. So we're not trying to be kooky or alternative. This is just a pure country record, but from the time when country music I felt was good, not essentially what's happening in the mainstream country now.
Well, most people think of the British invasion when they think about the music scene. This very punkish in England. Yeah. It's very pop oriented, very techno too. It's a big thing over there. So, how large is this underground network that you're talking about? And I'm just talking about the English version right now.
Well, it's again, not because it doesn't really fit with what we're doing with this record, but the sort of more left field kind of, there's a lot of it happening now. I mean, when I was with the Good Sons, that was, 15, 20 years ago when that was happening, and it was kind of hard because nobody was really getting it. But the British press, like with magazines like No Depression, have sort of embraced it, and there are a number of great British bands and artists being influenced by good country music and adding, their punk influence or their rock influence to it and coming up with something interesting. So there's plenty of it about.
Unfortunately, though, there's a huge scene of the very sort of uncool country music as well back home, which we're not really associated with, but we kind of we're appreciated by that crowd too, so that's fine.
Guilt by association.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
now, what do you consider the uncool country music?
Well, there's just a lot of people that are they're almost parodying country, and that they, it's all about being able to get up and line dance, really. And there's
Right.
nothing wrong with line dancing when it's the real deal, but there is a kind of it's like a phase amongst a lot of older people actually sort of hone in on this kind of. It's a very sort of two-dimensional country music, which hasn't really got any depth or anything to say, but it's a nice beat to sort of tap along and a nice tune, and there's a lot of it about. And
you get a lot of English people who've never been to America, but they live their sort of American fantasy by on a weekend dressing up as John Wayne or whatever and going down to the local
Yeah.
dance club to listen to some bad English band play "Achy Breaky Heart" 10 times. That kind of,
So
that's,
every time we hear
yes,
like we're
yeah.
British country, it's like well, actually we're not that, but we know what you mean.
Yeah, I have a friend who played with Billy Ray Cyrus for a while, and you would not believe how much he loathes that song. They all do. And there's an old saying about you sell your soul for rock and roll or country. The truth of that is when you get a hit song, it's never the song you want it to be the hit. It's always going to be some song
A throwaway. Yeah.
And you're stuck playing that for the rest of your life, and that's the way it is with those guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's funny. I haven't heard the Achy Breaky Heart name in a long time.
Well, probably it isn't now. It's probably I don't know, some Garth Brooks song or a Kenny Chesney song or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's
It's a scene. It's a scene
Yeah,
that is kind of not considered to be particularly cool, although they probably think it is.
Sure. So how are you guys embraced by the country scene here with Nashville, the Music Machine, and all that?
Well, it's very early days with this record because literally came out this week. So, over the years, I've been fortunate to tour with people like Townes Van Zandt and Chris Hillman and Roger McGuinn and like Steve Earle and people like this. So obviously they're not they're obviously credible artists with a huge country influence, but not part of any Nashville scene, So with this record, I don't know, we might be selling coals to Newcastle, another English expression. Mm-hmm. You
Do you know that one? Is that like
No, I don't
ticking the
know.
box?
Okay. Selling coals to Newcastle is like selling snow to the Eskimos,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but I don't think so because this record is nobody's making records like this in Nashville now.
Right.
Because we're doing the old
we're
style.
trying to make records like
Right.
they made in Nashville in 1973.
Right.
But what's really important, I think what's different about this record as well is that there are no covers on it. So we're writing in a style and a genre that when you hear it, a lot of people have said that they feel as if they've heard these songs before because they have a ring of old classics. But actually, it's very important to us to reinforce they are all new songs.
Right.
So
And they're well done.
Thank you. But we wanted the new songs to sound like they were written back then and recorded back then, and we feel we've achieved that. So we kind of set in a different era, but here we are.
Well, now, who are you both writers?
We are, yeah.
No, so does one start out with the idea first? Or
Oh,
is it
listen,
just
not only are we both writers, we're a married couple, so the whole process has just been a domestic dispute from beginning to end. All the songs sort of emulate, a couple that are getting back together, splitting up, getting back together, splitting up, having a row, and it's us. It's basically us, because our songwriting happens at home in the kitchen, and the arguments are about where the chords should be and which lyric works, and boy, it's a ride, it's a rocky ride but we get there in the end. So the process is but we both write and we both bring ideas to each other, and then we bust up a bit, and then we settle down, and usually we both end up happy in the end.
So-
or he just does what I tell him.
No.
Basically.
So when you have your ideas, do you butt heads on the ideas as well?
Oh yes.
Well, we butt heads all the time, really. But no, somebody will, Lou will write a song, or I'll write a song, or we'll write songs together. But then each of us will sort of chip in with little.
Yeah, I'm being
suggestions.
slightly unfair. Of course, if it were continually butting heads, then it wouldn't have worked. We've been together a long time. We both have the same ideas, and we both have the same ambitions about our music. So actually, it's organically perfect because we both know what we want, and we it's a kind of nice situation, even though I kid around about it being really difficult, which it can be. But on
Basically,
the whole,
Chad, Lou writes the good songs, I write the fillers. That's what
kind of how it works.
Only kidding, folks. There's no fillers on this record. It's
No
all
fillers, all great
It's all
songs.
good stuff. And actually, in fairness, he writes most of them. I'm too busy looking after our little girl Mabel and being mom. Well, he finishes the songs off.
So, with you guys having an older style that you're trying to bring back up to today's standards, the question that I want to
Well, it's not really up to today's standards, because I think the standard of country music was at its height then rather than now. You know, I mean, it's certainly in the authenticity in the songwriting. You know, because I think if we're talking about country music as perceived by what's happening in Nashville,
Right.
then that is really, you know, it's about as far removed from Hank Williams and Johnny Cash as you know, Iron Maiden. You know, I mean,
Right,
it's so. To me, the classic period of country music in the 60s and 70s is what I love, and what we're trying to, you know, what we call country music. Anyway.
So let me rephrase my question then. So
So to jump on you there, Chad, sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. So you're trying to reintroduce the classic country. That's
Yes,
what you're trying to
in
do.
a way, yeah.
So and in doing so, as somebody who loves to tinker in the studio, I have to ask. So what format are you using to record in?
Well, it was we recorded this album all analog, so it was all mostly live. And Michael will give you a list of the fantastic players that we use. These guys were just amazing, the real deal.
Yeah, it was. Well, we originally were going to come to the States and record it, but for various reasons that didn't work out. And in hindsight now, I'm really glad that we didn't do that, because it almost would have been the kind of cliched thing to do, really. But we used Neil Brockbank produced the record, who's produced 6 or 7 Nick Lowe records. He's done some records with Tiff Merritt and various people. But Neil's an older guy who's been around the block a few times. The musicians on the album are all from that sort of English pub rock scene that produced bands like Graham Parker and The Rumour and Elvis Costello and Nick Lowe, of course. So a lot of the musicians play with Nick and played with Elvis. Martin Belmont's the guitar player who was in Graham Parker and The Rumour for many years. These guys, and also played with Johnny Cash and, you know, Carlene Carter and everything. So these guys know and love their country music, for me, as much as anybody, you know. And so there was an authenticity in their sound and their approach. And it was very live. It was all set up one big room and let's play, you know. And I think you get that sort of feeling, the live feeling of it, because of the way we did it like that, yeah.
But we're in Chalk Farm in London instead of the USA. So there's a little twist on it. Chalk Farm is a place in London.
Right.
Yeah, so we were, you know...
Not a farm out in the field.
Yeah,
it's
it sounds cool, doesn't
Camden
it? It's
Town,
actually,
Camden Town.
we're in London. So it was, we've got twists on the real deal.
Yeah.
So who is touring with you?
Right now, it's just us.
Yeah, this first trip over is just just the two of us. We haven't got the wherewithal to bring everybody over. When we're touring in the UK, we're going out as a 7-piece band with basically with the guys who are on the album. But this first trip over is just the acoustic version.
But it's quite nice because it means that we can take it on the road, just the two of us, with a guitar and a piano and a tambourine. You know, it
Right.
works because the songs. What's so important to us is that the songs are good, and not just that. It's just not just about the fantastic music that the musicians have provided. It's about the songs, and so being able to just go on tour, the two of us, and just give those songs to the audience in their raw form with just a guitar, you know, that's if they're working like that, then that's what matters to us. So next time we can bring the band, but for now it's good to be able to.
On this tour so far, though, we have picked up different musicians along the way, which has been
We
great.
have.
American players. In New York, we put a small band together for half the set. We had a great musician, pedal steel player up in Rochester called Kevin Maul, who played the whole set with us, who was fabulous. So that's great, and you know, to pick up different people along the way.
Oh, sure.
And you know, so it's working on different levels, really. You know, but hopefully next year we can do a full tour with bring the whole My Darling Clementine experience to the good people of America.
See a whole set of safari suits instead of just one. Lots of polyester on the stage. I tell you, it's a hot experience.
Well, why don't you give us the scaled down version that you're touring with right now, and let us hear a song.
All right. Okay. Well, what should we play first?
Well, let's do the first track off the album, which is By a Thread. By a thread, this love is hanging by a thread. Neither of us knowing if it's
should come between someone and their dreams. But holding on like this, it's not the answer for us now. Hanging by a thread, neither alive nor dead. It's no use to us now. We should just let go and fall away into the darkness. We will fall away. There is nothing more to say, to try and save this love now. Nothing should come between someone and their dreams. But holding on like this, it's not the answer for us now. So you fall your way and I'll fall mine. Then we'll see what's left behind. If these ties that bind, they still stay strong. Oh, by a thread, is this love hanging by a thread? Neither of us knowing if it's alive or dead, or how long before we fall.
Main Cellar City Club, Hickory's premier music venue, is the place to go for music events, wedding dinners or receptions, company retreats, reunions, and more. Contact Main Cellar at 828-345-6246 or find us on Facebook and Twitter for all your entertainment updates.
We are back and rolling, and we're here with My Darling Clementine, but first I got to give a shout out to our sponsor. I feel really goofy doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because if I don't, then she'll start throwing stuff at me.
We'll not watch, Chad. It's all right.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Please shield your eyes. Main Cellar City Club is our sponsor. It's in downtown Hickory. It's a music and event venue. Some other upcoming shows include Little River Band and Bad Company, and it's actually a very intimate setting, a very fun place to go, and I'm really glad that Hickory finally clued into getting a place like this.
Bad Company? The Bad Company?
Yeah.
We're back together? Who's in it?
Yeah, well, I think it's the singer.
Paul Rogers?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a really neat venue because there's 300 seats.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Every show that I've seen there so far has been phenomenal. If you want to hear more about The Mesh, you can go to themesh.tv. Our voicemail line is 828-619-0048, or you can email us at info@themesh.tv. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Was that said with beautiful emphasis? Okay, I'm going to go back to something you guys were talking about recording the album as analog. Do you mean you were recording in reel-to-reel?
Yes.
Yeah? Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Tape. Yeah.
How lucky.
The old-fashioned way.
Well, you can actually tell that the album was recorded live, but it's a very good feel that a lot of bands don't have that feel anymore, because most bands will record track at a time or an instrument at a time, overdub after overdub. So that's got a very clean feel, and I applaud you for doing that, because I know how difficult that is. How many takes were some of these songs?
Well, actually, because the musicians are so amazing, it was just, it all kind of just happened.
One or two takes, really.
You know, I made plenty
I mean, not
of mistakes.
everything. We still done. We overdubbed the odd thing, a bit of steel here, a bit of guitar.
Sure,
but
sure.
Generally, it all went down. And a lot of the vocals went down live as well, which is very rare, certainly for me. But again, but there was such a, interaction as we were playing. I think it lent itself to, maybe a better performance than sitting there with headphones on, singing afterwards. So.
And also, when you don't record live, you tend to really overanalyze what you've put down. Oh, that wasn't quite right. Let's just do that again. Let's just do that again.
Right.
Whereas when you are recording live, you tend to allow for what you might, in a different setting, think was a mistake, or not quite as good maybe as you would like to have done it. But actually, those kind of rough, less smooth bits work because of the whole performance as opposed to the individual performances of each instrument.
I think you're right. I also think it lends through to more of happy accidents.
Absolutely, yes.
And Neil comes from that, obviously he's having worked with Nick Lowe, and Nick Lowe's nickname is Basher, His recording modus operandi was we bash it down and we tart it up. And so we kind of bashed it down and didn't really tart it up.
How long are you guys going to be touring the States?
Well, we've been here for 10 days and we've got 2 or 3 more days to go. So we've just been here for 2 weeks, yeah. So then we go back to England, but we've got full-on schedule when we get back there with touring the UK and some European dates, and then starting work on the next record as well, actually, all before the end of the year. So
you guys are pretty relentless with the way you're handling this project?
Yes, we are. You could say that.
It's been quite full on this year so far, yeah. But
well, now you have a solo career. Do you have it? Both of you do?
Yeah. I mean, we both had independent solo careers, but and it was interesting because obviously being married and we had a child, Mabel, who's sitting right behind us, being very quiet, I have to say, good girl, Mabel. It was a case of once we decided to have a child, one of us had to kind of sit back and be at home, and that was me. I wanted to do that. So Michael carried on with his solo career while I took a back seat for a while and was mom, and that was lovely. But then as Mabel grew a little bit and we decided, and I was really ready to get back out there again, we thought instead of being 2 separate artists, why don't we actually just try and work together on this? And as it so happened, because Michael was always sort of country, folk, alt country background, and I was more pop jazz, if you like. And we kind of thought, well, we're in separate genres. We just, that's never the twain shall meet sort of thing. But then as the years passed and we started to work with each other's music a little bit, it started to mesh together. And before we knew it, we realised actually we are very compatible musically. We don't have to work separately.
Oh, that's a nice discovery.
And we both had this passion to write music, country music, and it all just again organically fell into place. So
I just
now
bashed her over
we're
the head with Tom T. Hall records and the Ritalin.
He educated me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But
moved all the jazz records from the house. And,
I got. Yeah. But I'm glad for it because now I feel like we've really sort of found our direction that works as a family, if you like. And
so
cool.
What jazz and pop background did you have?
I was always writing. So I wrote, I grew up listening to Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald and along with that listening to the Beatles and Neil Young. So I had, my background, my childhood was very much, in fact, looking down and frowning quite a lot on country. It was considered quite naff in our house, that it wasn't the thing at all.
Right.
So my natural sort of genre of songwriting was very much sort of adult pop. I was listening to a lot of, Annie Lennox, and I was very much the sort of independent female songwriter that had something to say, rather, believe it or not, rather than just wanting to sell out and be in the genre that I don't particularly like, which is where women exploit themselves quite a lot. So I had quite a kind of a political angle on my songwriting, but the music was very much influenced by the pop music that I'd been brought up on, and very much the jazz. And I used to play a lot at a Ronnie Scott's club, which is kind of was a well-known club in the UK, which was very nice. I was fortunate enough to be able to play there and do quite a good. I was kind of doing the circuit of reasonably well-respected level, but then he came along and ruined it all for me.
Yeah, before she toured with people like Brian Ferry and who else? Sophie B. Hawkins and people like this, and then she's ended up touring with me. So it's been a downward trajectory.
So how did you guys meet?
Through Elvis Costello.
Wow,
that sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's not as good as it sounds.
He didn't introduce us.
No, Lou had. I lived in Liverpool and Lou lives in Birmingham, and somehow within the music, industry word, I heard that Lou had written a thesis on the lyrics of Elvis Costello. I'm a huge Elvis fan. And so I hunted it down just because I wanted to read this.
It wasn't because he fancied me. It was because he wanted to read my...
It was purely, I just wanted...
It was intellectual.
It absolutely,
was, absolutely, yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with
It's
that.
that old chat-up line, can I read your thesis? That's what
That's what all the boys say to me.
And then there we are. So we
really hit it off. We both discovered that we both were, competing for who was the biggest Elvis Costello fan.
Right.
And of course, we'd both had that moment in a few years ago where we both heard Almost Blue by Elvis Costello, which was the turning point for both of us in terms of, certainly, it really had an impact on you, didn't it?
Oh, it did, yeah.
And for me, having thought, country music is naff, I suddenly heard it in a whole new light and thought, hey, you know what? If Elvis Costello thinks this is cool, let me listen to this. And then, so he educated me as well, not just my husband. Right. He had a say in it.
I think that record was quite pivotal for a lot of people who were, country music not really been something that you would, you maybe only heard it through your parents, and it might have been some Jim Reeves record or whatever. But, I grew up sort of, punk and post-punk, and and Costello was my man. And by the time he'd made Almost Blue, which I think was 81, 82, that opened up a whole world of country music for me, especially the stuff that Elvis had recovered on that record, whether it be Graham Parsons or whether it be, Harlan Howard, George Jones, the classic artists. And then from there on, I sort of then really got involved in this sort of American folk country, like Townes Van Zandt, Guy Clark, John Prine, sort of great, Rodney Crowell, those kind of songwriters, So that was a real turning point for me.
There's a lot of artists as their careers develop and they get a chance to start exploring themselves a little bit after they get past their popularity pop phase.
Yeah, exactly.
They get a chance to kind of say, well, I want to investigate some other avenues. Usually, I think that's when the artist really kind of develops. My favorite artist is Sting, and he's even got a couple of nods to country. Fill Her Up was done on his last Brand New Day album, which is all country. And as a matter of fact, he even had a country artist guest star on it and sing with him.
All right, yeah. Well, he wrote that song that was on one of the Johnny Cash American albums, which is a fantastic song. It's like a Marty Robbins kind of outlaw song. And when I heard it, I can't remember what it's called now.
That's Fill Her Up.
Is that? Is it Fill Her Up?
I'm almost because it's
the one where about the guy shoots the.
He takes the cash box and leaves the gas station, robs the gas station for his girl.
Oh, is that the one? Okay.
I hung my head.
What?
I hung my head.
That's no. We're talking about a country song.
Right, I hung my head is the one that's the country song he's talking about, where the guy shoots somebody, the kid shoots somebody.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
And that's a Sting song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really.
And you knew that over me. Yeah. Note to self: I do not like Alan Jackson.
It is. It's damn. And I must admit, I'm not a big Sting fan, and I was like blown away by that song. I couldn't believe that it was. I just thought, oh, this sounds like and hats off to the Geordie maestro,
to the Sting.
Yeah, but it was a great song, and. But yeah, no, well, as you say, and then he's made this record on a Loot album. But I suppose once you've got that established, and you can go off in different directions you want. But we've just not got established, but still go off in the direction.
Why wait?
You're like the rest of us. Well, you guys do a good job at what you do. So
thank you.
Don't worry about it. One day it just may come for you. So what else would you guys like to cover? Would you like to talk about the album itself?
Well, I don't know what else we can say about it, really. Just go and buy it. If you love George Jones and Tammy Wynette and that kind of music, then I don't think you will, not like this record. So, we'll maybe just play another song off it.
We have converted a few people as well, haven't we? We had a lot of people coming up at our shows saying, I don't think I liked country music, but I love what you're doing. So there's, I hate to say it, but there's an accessibility about what we're doing to people who don't like, because it's catchy.
What is your website address again? I can't remember because it's got the .uk at the end of it.
It's My Darling Clementine Music. It's important the music bit gets added, otherwise you go to the movie. So My Darling Clementine music.co.uk.
Good. The reason why I want you to say that is because I went there, and of course I was doing some background on you guys, and I wound up listening to all the 8 tracks that were on the the little jukebox that's on your side.
All right.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. So I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
The site's quite funky. Our manager's wife designed that, and it's great. Yeah. So
She
a couple
did a
of
good
funny
job.
videos as well, and funny video. They're kind of like
There's a video of us. There's a track called Roses, which is our sort of take on the, if you like, it's our answer to Jackson. But we recorded this video. We filmed it. The idea is that it's a couple that are kind of falling out and not getting along too well, and we acted it so well. It was uncanny. We managed to pull it off perfectly,
you
didn't
can't
we?
tell whether we're waiting to go into the divorce court or waiting to go into the registry office to get married. But anyway, check it out, folks. It's a fun video. It's very well shot, anyway.
And all your music is very well done, so I hope they do check you guys out.
Thank
well,
you.
why don't you guys lead us out with another song?
All right, we'll play a song called what should we play? Goodbye Week.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. This is a song called Goodbye Week, which is in the classic country tradition of somebody leaving another person, and it goes like this.
So this is goodbye week. I can't bring myself to speak. I just don't know what to do. Now you're not around. The lights, they no longer shine in the bars that were yours and mine. I just don't know what to do this goodbye week through. Somehow I found you at the station. That old suitcase in your hand, like smoke leaves a chimney stack. You went away without looking back. Now you can't face those rooftops again.
So this is goodbye week. I can't bring myself to speak. I just don't know what to do. Now you're not around. The lights, they no longer shine in the bars that were yours and mine. I just don't know what to do this goodbye week through.
This goodbye week is gonna break me. Why did you forsake me? And take your longings when you ran. And in these days of my misfortune, there is no light that makes this dark room shine when you're not here. Make it shine when you're not here. Like smoke leaves a chimney stack, you went away, you're not coming back.
Now I can't face those rooftops again.
No, this is goodbye week. I can't bring myself to speak. I just don't know what to do. Now you're not around. The lights, they no longer shine in the bars that were yours and mine. I just don't know what to do this goodbye week through.
I just don't know what to do this goodbye week through.
I just don't know what to do this goodbye week through.
Thank you.
Michael, Lou, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been a pleasure talking to you
Our
folks.
pleasure, Chad.
Thank you for having us.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.